Yes. And Kabuski. I can't type, apparently.
Yeah, neither can I. And I'm a writer.
Let's see.
All right, then.
Yeah, we're live-ish, you know, the pre-show roll, if you will.
Yeah, be right back.
Everybody stumbling in with their drinks and finishing off their booze.
Yeah, our last show, my co-host had to engineer it for us.
Yeah.
She neglected to tell me, or she says she did tell me, I don't remember, that she already hit the, record. We were live, and I'm just going babbling about shit.
Don't worry about it. That's basically what we do.
And Jessica calls me up. She goes, "You want me to edit out like the first 5 minutes of that?" I'm like, "Yeah, it'd be fine."
Are we live then?
Yep, we are technically live. We're on that sweet pre-show roll. I'm gonna step back outside really quick and
Excellent.
get everything.
Let me just grab the Sword Coast Adventures guide because I'm probably going to be the one who needs it. So, how's everybody doing this afternoon? I would say this evening, but it's not quite there yet. So,
Yeah, we're halfway there. Living on a prayer. Take my hand.
Holiday weekend.
oh yeah, Memorial Day. Feels good.
It feels.
Taking the family to go see Deadpool 2 tomorrow.
Oh well,
Oh, I get to sit next to the Jakey pool.
Yes, you do.
I have to go see that
Jakey
movie.
drinks outside. Do you want me to bring that in for you?
I'm stepping back outside for like 1 minute.
You guys don't have that much time, so
I know.
it'll make it quick.
But I'm gonna make the most of that 1 minute. Damn it.
Power smoke.
Haha, I get the adjustable mic this time.
I mean, I got this to actually stick in a rough, position. So,
Oh, that's.
I'll take it.
That's where it sticks for me, and I need it out.
I mean, yeah, you can just take it a little further out though.
Oh, anyway.
Thank you for joining us.
Yeah. This will be fun. Hopefully.
Oh, it's
Oh, it's gonna
always
be fun.
Hopefully we'll be able to add something to this.
Oh yeah, we're a bunch of amateurs out here. I think that's why our fans like us so much.
It's amateur hour.
So much for that. Left my lighter in here. Cigarette went out. Dream is dead.
No.
Dream is dead. Time for the show to start.
Yeah. Well, we tried our best.
Let me pull up.
Therefore, no one
that
can judge us.
homebrew.
Ew. I don't know. Oh, look at that. That bastard show title banner is still showing up.
Oh no, the right side. Don't worry about that. It's the left side.
No, but here's the thing, though.
Oh no.
Oh, no is right. That's not supposed to be there.
Welcome to our daily technical difficulties.
Shit is right now, Chuck.
Oh, there we go.
I think I fixed it.
Oh,
I hope I fixed it.
we probably screwed up last week's
place
then.
to prop this up at?
Yeah, we did.
It's not much of a
Yeah,
hardcover,
yeah.
so I'm not sure how much you guys are going to have to show.
Yeah, just go ahead and tuck her right up in there.
Oh,
Let's see here.
Oh, excellent. Thank you, Andrew.
All right. What did Andrew say?
Oh, he just plugged our show.
Oh, nice. Oh,
Alright.
I should probably do that.
I mean, he didn't say anything mean or anything. I wouldn't trust Andrew, too. We haven't talked recently, Andrew. We should talk more.
Well,
Here, do you want me to set this in front of that?
Dude, I didn't want to cover up anything, but you
No,
guys,
it's
Oh
fine.
no,
if you guys
no.
make that decision,
You're
hey,
the guest.
Yeah, no, I
more
said-
power to you, man.
Come on, I said you can put it in front of any book you want.
all right.
we
Well,
are
let's put it-
plugging your book.
Let's put it actually in front of here, because that's the one directly in front of center camera. So,
Yeah.
That works.
All right.
Whatever you guys want to do.
Y'all ready for this?
oh, I'm born ready.
suppose.
As ready as we'll ever be.
Pretty much.
Here's the fight song. No, Nacho, I'm not going to forget to mic lock ever again. It's never going to happen again. Welcome to 3DM's podcast. I'm Jake, joined as per usual by Nacho and Paul. And this week, sitting in studio with us, we have author Matt Gross, also one of the hosts of the Punk Wisdom podcast. You can find them here on the Podcast Detroit network. That was a mouthful. How's everybody doing on this balmy Memorial Day weekend?
Oof, it's too hot for my tastes.
Well, I'm sorry my AC doesn't work in the truck.
Yeah, no, that was
y'all got to sweat.
The battle wagon is a stanky wagon at this point. But guys, we got a
How about
really
you, Matt?
It's been hot.
way to cut me off, Nacho. Anyways, guys, we got a pretty loaded show for you today. We're gonna be talking to Matt here about his book. We are gonna be discussing this smattering of homebrew that we found online. And if we have time, we want to cover the Unearthed Arcana Minotaurs and Centaurs that came out a couple weeks ago. But it's been a pretty hectic couple of weeks, what with Mordenkainen's coming out and all that other business. But first things first, Matt, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So let's just dive right in, because when I saw, for everybody out of the loop, here at Podcast Detroit, obviously we've got like a Facebook group, and everybody does communicating between all the other shows and stuff. See if anybody ever wants to appear on anybody else's show. We're a pretty happy little family type unit around these parts.
Speaking of which, you can record out of Podcast Detroit if you're in the Southeast Michigan area.
Yep. But
Besides all that,
we saw I saw Matt's post. He posted it in the group, and he mentioned that he had just written a fantasy sci-fi novel. I was like, neat. And then followed that up with, I play D&D. I'm like, you're on my show now. So
You have no choice.
did you get a choice on whether or not you're coming onto our show, or did he Shanghai you?
It was okay either way. If not, I was going to party crash anyway. So
there you go.
Sweet.
So, Matt, first things first, because we are a D&D centric show, tell us about your history with the illustrious Dungeons and Dragons.
I was introduced in Dungeons and Dragons in elementary school.
Okay.
Probably kindergarten, first grade. I remember playing it out on the during lunch hour, recess stuff.
I think that's an almost universal experience, I have to admit. But
Yep. And ever since, there's been just a love affair. It's just any group I could get myself into. And
Right. Do you do you primarily DM as a storyteller, or do you actually prefer to play the player role?
well, that's kind of funny because I like to tell myself I'm a player.
Right.
I'm obviously a storyteller because I wrote a book, and I'm pretty decent at storytelling. But for whatever reason, I just never got into the groove of DMing. I don't know why. Probably because I like to have characters, even though I never really envisioned my NPCs being my characters.
Right.
Yeah, it's the matter of, like, speaking as somebody who's also done some writing. Nothing obviously to your quality or level of proficiency, but I find that it's much easier to focus on a single character and explore that character when you're focusing on one character rather than like 30.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Definitely.
Oh yeah.
Because even when I did the chances I did do any DMing, I found myself focusing on one or two of the NPCs more than any of the other ones, and not giving much detail or background on any of the other NPCs, which kind of cheapened the storytelling. But
Oh no! In my game, all the mayors, guards, and everyone, they all have the same personality.
But yeah, no, and D&D, branched. We went and I've done Palladium. I've done when we started talking about the book a little bit. The book was heavily influenced by riffs.
I was
So
going to ask,
we've done,
actually, sorry not to interrupt.
No, go ahead.
What your inspiration with Shadowrun in your book was, since they seemed somewhat similar to me, although Shadowrun focuses more on cyberpunk tropes rather than Western tropes.
Shadowrun's always been a game I wanted to play. I could never find a DM willing to play it for more than just a few sessions.
Yeah.
There'd always be a short run that they'd do, and that was all I'd ever get. I've always wanted to play it, though.
Hey, now you know Paul.
Yeah, I do run Shadowrun, mostly 4th edition, but also some 5th edition Shadowrun. So
They have 5th edition Shadowrun?
yes, they
I
do.
haven't
They
really-
came out in 2012, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Shows you how much I'm keeping up there.
That's why we keep a Paul.
Yeah, that's why we keep our surprise attack Paul for
yeah.
knowledge and facts like that. Before we start talking about your book, though, fleshing out a character, because it seems you prefer to sit on the player side of the screen. Do you have any particular characters that you've made in the past for D&D that like really stick out? Like the one that you know, if you got to one last run, you know, you play him again?
Jeez, no. I mean, yes and no. I mean, there was an assassin I made back in elementary school that he'd pop in from campaigns from time to time. I mean, it got to the point I played him so much, he was so high level, and of course, this is homebrew rules that every game I've ever played was homebrew rules.
Oh, yeah.
And so it was always obviously higher than ever 10th, 15th, 20th, 30th, 40th. We went way beyond that they were supposed to be. So this just became one of those characters that pop in every now and again just to
Show off.
F things up. And being assassin, you know. I tried writing him into one of my novels before. I say that like I have more than one.
Hey, works in progress count.
But, you know, and some of my characters do
That's what I
pop
tell
up.
myself.
Not in this particular book. In my next one that I'm writing, I have a character I used to play is actually in the book, or at least personality-wise, he's in the book.
All right. So let's talk about your book. You want to give us the whole rundown, name, title, everything, and like just let's start from the beginning with this bad boy.
All right. Well, I titled it The Malevolent Witch. Mainly, I Googled names and found out what pops up when you type in certain Google names, and I wanted at least mine to pop up to be one of the first three few choices.
Yeah, you don't want to get involved in a legal struggle. So
That too. But I wanted it so if people typed it into Google, they're going to see it right away. They're not going to see a litany of other things before they get to it. So that was part of the planning of it.
All right.
And which stories sell for not that I'm a sellout, but you know they sell.
I mean,
And then one of the main characters is a witch anyway. So,
works.
but
Yeah, so.
the subtitle is The Book of Cain, Volume 1. Cain is obviously the main character of the book. He's a bounty hunter. I heavily influenced with riffs.
funny, I was reading it as KN, but
Yep. He actually I think in the first couple chapters he says how it's pronounced, but people usually just shorten it up to just say Cain.
Yeah, I think I saw that in the little snippet that you gave us.
yeah, we all read through that. So
cool.
maybe I forgot it because I was reading through it very quickly. But sorry,
No big deal.
I
No,
realized that I couldn't get into my account. So.
I'm part of a writers group, and the primary focus of the group isn't to brainstorm ideas. It's to critique other people's writing. So I will give them some pieces of my writing, and they'll let me know, usually brutally, on whether it's good or not.
If you'll pardon one moment of knife stabbing. This is an incredibly petty complaint, so bear with me. But I noticed sometimes when you did the triple dot lead off that you didn't put a space in between that and the next character, so it would sometimes bleed into the next line. And all I'd say is, just go through that and put one more space there, and it should look fine. But
No, and that's one thing that this writers group did for me is like I am totally open to criticism.
Yeah,
It does not bother me one bit.
it's an incredibly petty complaint, I know.
Oh,
but
I've heard others. I've got my own pet peeves when I'm writing stuff, which why it takes me so long to write it. But no, that, and you guys ever watch the show Lost Girl?
It sounds familiar. I'm not sure if I've seen it.
I have no idea, so I'm just going to stand here and
Okay,
smile.
because that's another little bit of, I took away something from that show even, because it's high fantasy, but yet it's not in your face high fantasy.
Yeah.
All the different races like elves, ogres, fae, I'll classify them all under fae, which is what Lost Girl kind of does, the show. And so that's kind of what I did with this. And they have glamours and stuff that actually can make themselves look human if they're in an area where it's highly prejudiced. So that's kind of, I don't get into it too much in this book. I am in the next one, but that's where the influences are there too.
Out of minor concern, and I'm sorry for stealing all the spotlight from you guys, of
you're
course, but
No, keep asking.
You're the critic.
Do it.
yeah, I'm playing Commander Contrarian today. Are you dividing them into summer, autumn, winter courts, or unseelie and seelie, or are they just all fae?
Right now they're just all fae. I haven't dug into it because they're not that prevalent in the world yet. So I'm developing the world as I'm writing too.
Yeah, makes sense. I just figured I'd ask because I personally like the dichotomy between seelie and unseelie fae, which could be described as occasionally plays fair and is actively out to get you, are the two divisions. So.
But the premise of the story is Cain runs across a contract that seems a little fishy to him, And so he starts investigating it, and it kind of goes from there.
Yep.
The book I'm currently writing is not volume 2. I got about 25,000 words in volume 2, and I stopped.
Most impressive.
Mainly just because I kind of lost inspiration. And if I'm not feeling it when I'm writing it, I know other people are not going to feel it when they read it.
Yeah.
So I kind of put it on the back burner for now, and I started something else. And so the one I'm writing currently is one of the villains in this book actually survives. And it's her story about 5 or 6 years later.
All right. Yeah, makes sense. How many books are you planning to put in this series?
I have no idea. The original plan was 3.
Yeah, I was assuming
and I've
3,
got like 2
but-
or 3 spin-offs I'm working on too, so it's...
Ooh, ain't that just the way?
Yeah. Well, you fall in love with the characters and like, oh, I could do so much with this character doing this, and it's not part of the main story, so let's go do this.
Let's go see what these guys are doing.
Yeah, no, that's incredibly relatable as a DM because you do have your favorite pet NPCs that you're just like, let me just get them back in there really quick. Just hey, everybody, you know that one guy?
He's back.
He's back. 'Cause he's
Never found the body.
Nope. Exactly. All right, so we have a lot to unpack with this homebrew. So really quick, Matt, before we move on to reviewing this homebrew, just one more time, tell everybody where they can get your book, how much they can get your book for, and just sell your soul. Schlep your little heart out right now.
I unfortunately do not have a webpage yet.
Oh,
Something I'm
That sounds very
working
familiar.
on. I do have a Facebook page at mrgross42.
Okay.
Twitter at gross42, which I'm not very huge in Twitter.
We'll link
you
them
might
on
not
the
see it
Facebook
there. So
page.
there's those. Amazon. Amazon.com. You just type in The Malevolent Witch, and is usually the first thing that pops up.
Yeah, we currently have it pinned in our chat. If you are listening to this on SoundCloud or iTunes, head to our Facebook page, check it out. You'll find all the live videos we do of all these recordings, and on this episodes, you will find the link to the Amazon page with Matt's book.
Yep. Paperback is $9.99. Kindle's $2.99. If you have Kindle Unlimited, it's free. I just want to give one shout out to the guy who did my cover is a good friend of mine. He is an awesome artist, and he's working on the cover of my next book too. So
what's his name?
Dent Niggemeyer. He actually works for GM and doing graphic design for them. So he doesn't do that stuff. He just does it on the side.
I was going to mention it was pretty good.
Yeah, that was
Cool. You have someone with experience helping you.
very handsome cover.
Not the, hey, I know a guy who can get you a commission for $15. Yeah, it's terrible.
I know it, dude. All right. So earlier this week, I was, while we were trying to figure out what we were going to do with the show, I was perusing in a panic, as I always do. I was perusing various forums, and I did see a post of a bunch of homemade subclasses. Now, before I link everything here in the chat, I just want to get the author's name correct, so he is getting the proper due credit on this.
Sorry, man. We're about to tear it apart.
Wow, Paul.
Joseph A. Miller.
Yep.
Is there an A in there?
Yes, there is.
Oh, wow. I didn't even see that.
It's a sneaky A.
Joseph A.M. Miller.
Oh, I
There's
missed the
an M
M.
there, too, yeah.
Oh.
I'm not the reader
Joseph
of the group.
A. Miller.
Joseph Andrew Michael Miller. Yeah.
I'm the illiterate one, so
Yeah, well,
No, you just drive the truck and, look pretty.
that's what I do best.
Hair flip. Anyways, so we were looking around, and I saw this bundle of subclasses, and I was interested by two things. A, the fact that he claimed right off the top, and I'm going to repeat this a couple of times as we're reviewing these, that these were made incredibly strong because as a DM, I'm paraphrasing here, but as a DM, he, feels that he plays a pretty mean DM, and so he wants his players to be pretty powerful. So that interested me. But that being said, a lot of the concepts and ideas for these subclasses were actually pretty cool and stuff that I'm a little surprised hasn't been made into like an Unearthed Arcana or hasn't come out, for playtest material from Wizards of the Coast. So, with that whole mouthful being said, we are going to dive into these subclasses really quick here. Anybody who wants to follow along, I'm going to link it in the chat. Boop.
thank you kindly, Jake.
Boop.
Did you do it yet?
I think I did it. I hope I did it. Nope. I posted the Amazon thing again.
That's okay. Keep selling my book. That's cool.
So, while Jake's doing this, I did have one quick question about your book.
Go ahead.
So what point in time is it? Because it has that old-timey Western feel.
And then you mentioned it's 200 years
Yep.
after a horrendous cataclysm. So
Yep.
So-
It takes about 200, 250 years after today.
Okay.
So it's got
late-
that post-apocalyptic feel, Serenity, Firefly type, Western type feel to it, in a fantasy setting.
Okay, because that's something I was wondering, because it has that nice old-timey Western feel,
So wait a
but
minute.
you also have that more modern and postmodern feel to it.
When you
so-
talk about magical electricity, I'm thinking, wait a minute, isn't this a Western? What's going on?
Kind of,
here?
sort of.
Then I do love Kane's animal names. It's the greatest.
I kind of made him a bit OP in the first few chapters because I wanted to give people an idea of what he can do. I literally beat the crap out of him later on in the book, though.
I mean, to be fair, he's facing down a bunch of random, I mean, I don't want to say hicks, but random
Yeah.
cowboys as opposed to somebody actually particularly dangerous. Sorry, cowboys, but you're not like a dragon or anything. So
True enough.
sorry.
True enough.
It's just the truth.
But yeah, that's the kind of feel I was going for.
That makes sense.
Yeah, because I don't normally read, but I actually do want to finish that. So I'll
Well,
just
you can
have
get
to
it on
save up.
Amazon.
So I'll just have to save up that $10.
Yeah, you can get that. Yeah, you can go to Amazon and buy it for $9.99.
Yeah, just gotta save up
schlepping. We're
$9.99.
schlepping. That being said, though, now that I've actually successfully pinned the comment because me versus the computer is apparently a thing today, let's
that was bad.
dive. Yeah, I know. Let's dive right in. So just quickly, we're gonna cover
A lot of material very quickly.
yeah,
So
what 6 subclasses these are and what core classes they belong to. First, we got the College of Tragedy for Bard. We have the Circle of Decay for the Druid. We have the Gladiator for the Fighter. Gladiator. The Way of the Closed Fist for Monk. The Lich, Warlock Patron, and the what is it?
School of Arcana for
School of
Wizard.
Arcana for Wizard. All right. Starting at the top.
So who's playing good cop, bad cop, and Dadaist cop?
Nacho can have the Dadaist. I'll protect everything this guy put out.
All right.
Well, I'll try to. So, let's start with College of Tragedy. Nacho, would you like to read off the abilities since you have it open and handy
Just-
dandy?
That's
Quickly.
because I'm prepared. So, starting at 3rd level when you take this college, you get Tragic Inspiration. You can use your Bardic Inspiration to stabilize yourself when you hit 0 hit points, but before your first death saving throw. So you don't get to keep that in your back pocket if you roll a 1. You can use Bardic Inspiration to re-roll a roll that resulted in a 1. You have to choose to do so before the result is decided.
Keep in mind, that one can hit anyone who has your Bardic Inspiration, as all of them can, but
And you can expend a Bardic Inspiration to turn a critical hit against you into against them into a normal hit.
Which
which
is
is good.
pretty good. Just breaking that down really quick.
It's easily the best
Bardic inspiration in the game. You're gonna, that is gonna be one thing that comes up. Not necessarily ripping on this these subclasses because these subclasses to me feel like they just need to be more refined and play tested more. If we're gonna bring them down to like standard balance levels, but yeah, it's already the best Bardic inspiration in the game if you chose to use it. Let's move on to the next bit.
Sorrowful Motivation. When a creature you have granted Bardic Inspiration to uses that to grant them a bonus on a roll and is at least less than half their hit point maximum, then they may add your Charisma modifier to the result.
It's fine.
Yeah, solid.
My
Good
literacy is
ability.
really showing today.
I know, right?
It's good,
I like how
but
you're
it's
just
not.
like, I can't read, and I'm now making you read things. This is what you get.
It's perfectly acceptable.
I are a grunt. I eat crayons.
All right. Next one, please, Nacho.
The Song of Lament. At 6th level, you can play a morose song to dampen an enemy's spirit. As a reaction, when an enemy makes an ability check, attack roll, or saving throw, you can expend one of your Bardic Inspiration dice to impose disadvantage on that roll.
That
You sing about sad puppies, they get those tears rolling in their eyes. They just can't hit you.
is a ridiculously powerful ability at 6th level.
Yeah, that's a 6th level.
Yeah, but it's the
ability.
power to move you.
I know it's the power
But
to
that's
move you.
6th level. That should be a lot higher.
It's at 6th level, the ability to basically, with every Bardic inspiration you have, just to go, Yeah, it's pretty strong. I think the only way just to like an easy, neat little Band-Aid to put on it is attach a long rest or a short rest mechanic to it, once per long rest or short rest, because obviously you're also using up a Bardic Inspiration. But as we just talked about, the Bardic Inspirations are already ridiculously powerful.
And then, finally, at 14th level, you get Invoke Tragedy. When a creature within 60 feet of you rolls a result equal to or less than your Charisma modifier, you can use your reaction to treat that roll as a 1.
There's some obvious synergies of this with Halfling.
Yeah, no, this makes halflings. And listen, I don't believe in rolling anything less than 6 anymore. But that being said, it's a really good ability.
It is. I don't think there's anything particularly wrong if it's a 14th level ability. It
Yeah,
takes your reaction.
it's, at 14th level, you should have something that ridiculous.
Or you can just
also
completely
there's-
screw over the big bad that just needs a 2 to hit.
Yeah.
It's like, haha, you broke your sword.
Well,
If crit fails were still a thing.
and there's many rounds of it just not going to do anything. So
Well, but still,
Yeah,
overall,
I think it's
useful
fine.
ability. So, final thoughts on the Tragedy College Bard. Other than the fact that, like,
it needs some surgery.
I do love the idea, though, of, like, Gerard Way from My Chemical Romance, like, in the Black Parade outfit, just, like, with the portable piano, and every song is just that G note from the Black Parade. When I was a young boy. That, or it's Daniel Day-Lewis, just, like, being morose and a super Shakespearean actor and just saying, like, the saddest poetry you've ever heard as he's looking at a skull.
So sad people just die.
No, there's a lot of really cool stuff with this. It just needs some refinement. I think the Bardic Inspiration does need to tone down. I'll agree with you there. But overall, though, it's still pretty solid, and the bones can be used. And that's how I feel about most of these. Like, I think they do need some refinement to make them work in a standard game, because a lot of them are beefier than their subclass brethren if you were to put them up with official stuff.
They would muscle out every other subclass.
But it doesn't mean that without a little love and a little refinement, they can't make great additions to the game.
But you can finally play that emo kid we've all wanted to play.
There you go.
Go back to middle school.
Yep. Relive
do
the
it.
glory days one more time. So, on to the Druid. We have the Circle of Decay, also known as I do the Grave Domain Cleric's job better than he could ever hope to.
Yeah. Sorry, Grave Domain.
Sorry, Grave Domain, you've been replaced. So, Circle Spells. It has a excellent spell list. Nacho, would you like to just launch at what people get?
At 3rd level, you get Prayer of Healing and Ray of Enfeeblement. At 5th level, Revivify and Vampiric Touch. At 7th level, you get Blight and Death Ward. And then at 9th level, you get Insect Plague and Reincarnation.
Huh. There's a lot of resurrecting spells in here for something that's supposed to be about decay.
Well, it's supposed to be, if we read the fluff on it,
The
it's
Circle
supposed
of
to.
Life.
Yeah, they're the circle of life and how it moves us all, and lions
Something
and
like
remembering who you are.
It just seems like this class is kind of not necessary.
I like the flavor on it. I think it's a interesting way to go with the druid, because most of the druid stuff that we've had released so far, or even like as playtest material, has been like, there's the one weird mushroom one.
I am the Lorax. I speak for the trees.
Yeah, and then everything else is like either
The Lorax.
the Lorax and speaks for the trees, or hey guys, just hang out with me in the woods and you're gonna be a-okay because I take care of everybody. So it's interesting that, like,
You mean the friendly neighborhood camp counselor?
yeah, pretty much.
Except he can sick wolves on you if you're.
He can sick wolves on you, and he just likes to wear incredibly short brown shorts. It's like, are those regulation or did you cut them yourself?
The shorter the shorts, the more trustworthy they are.
I had
yeah.
my mother hem them 6 inches shorter for me, so I could have more room for my legs to stretch. Unsettling.
But the thing I really want to get into with this one is negate undead, which is
Oh. Yeah, we still got a ways.
Yeah,
to
yeah,
go. we got a ways to go.
we're just let's just skim
negate
through it real quick.
undead lets you turn any spell slot into a destroy target undead creature of the same CR or less.
Yeah, and that comes in at 2nd level, which is
Oh,
insane.
that is 2nd level. Whoops.
Yeah. Really quick though,
Goodbye,
'cause
ghouls.
we did skip it really quick. Bonus cantrips, nice little flavor, nice touch.
Yeah.
2nd level, you can use Chill Touch and Spare the Dying.
Yeah.
It's fine. I see no issues with those.
Yep.
Arcane Infusion seems fine until you read the second paragraph.
Yeah. Let's
go over that
really quick. I actually want to pop back though to negate undead. This is one where I do find we do have a bit of stepping on toes happening. If you look at the cleric's turn undead ability, and as it powers up throughout the game, cleric at level 17 can only outright destroy a CR4. Now, this destroy undead ability, again, just takes away an entire feature, like an entire leveled feature of a cleric, and just does it way better. Because, I mean, for certain pesky undead who can really ruin your day by just, existing or having effects, you can just make them go bye-bye for a spell slot, which is a very good trade.
It's probably what you're going to do with that spell slot anyway.
Yeah, like you're like, oh no, I'm going to lose stone shape. Oh, or you can just, make the
wraith just
disappear. Wraith be gone. It needs
it's no save also, which is sort of
it also has there's no save. It's just they dead. It's we haven't really been able to figure out a way just to
make this not incredibly powerful.
Yeah, because it's kind of all or nothing. It's either it just murders everything, or it's
either I use an offensive spell and deal a bunch of damage to a big thing, or I just outright kill the smaller thing.
That being said, moving on, because there's still a lot to unpack here.
The Arcane Infusion.
Arcane Infusion, as Paul said, could best be described as the first paragraph is just fine.
And then you realize there's more of it.
And then, but wait, there's more. It's like
Billy May. Let's start off with the first paragraph before we get into our Billy Mays. When you cast a spell that restores lost hit points, you may add your wisdom modifier to the amount of hit points restored to a creature.
Whenever you cast a spell that doesn't deal necrotic damage, you can have the damage type become necrotic, which is
good.
But wait, there's more.
But wait, there's more.
And then this paragraph.
In addition, you have advantage on saving throws against any necromancy spell or spells that deal necrotic damage. Attack rolls that deal necrotic damage have disadvantage against you.
Any of those sentences could have been a feature of their own of probably higher level.
Yeah, no, that is extra thick. Ugh. That is super strong. It's got that boom, ba boom, 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 that super bass.
Wait, you got a Lich up there? Hold on, let me get to level 6 real quick, then I'll just go solo him.
It's
You're not wrong, is the sad thing.
It actually becomes a compelling fight, the 21 CR versus the Lich is still gonna win.
But how close will it be?
But the 6th level druid actually hangs in there way longer than he should have. You could literally I think
you'll be Rocky in that fight.
I think it would be just fine if you just kind of get rid of that second paragraph.
Yeah, it's completely acceptable.
And then it's still a really good, useful feature. Necrotic damage doesn't have a whole lot of, most things don't have a resistance to necrotic, except for undead and other, and I think constructs. That's about
I need to check the monster manual, but I think you're right.
Yeah.
Some outsiders, probably.
Yeah, but it's a really strong damage type. It's, up there with Radiant and Psychic as far as, not a lot of things are immune to it except for undead. So
10th level, they get
Death Ward.
Death Ward, which is it's okay. I see no problems with it. You
I
just
like
get
the flavor.
resistance to necrotic damage and immunity to poison disease. You know what?
Yeah, it's good flavor ability. Makes sense for the character.
So hey, you have disadvantage, and then I'll only take half of that.
Yeah. Combined with the level 6, but on its own, by itself, good stuff.
Your puny skeleton arms can do no harm to me.
Let's see. And
At
then
14th level, you get True Balance. Undead cannot break your connection to the forces of life and death. When an undead creature attacks you, that creature must make a wisdom saving throw against your druid spell save DC. On a failed save, the creature must choose a different target, or the attack automatically misses. On a successful save, the creature is immune to this effect for 24 hours. The creature is aware of this effect before it makes an attack against you.
This is when the Lich runs screaming out of his own damn dungeon. Because the 14th level druid has arrived. Yeah, no, he just goes, nope. No,
I'm not dealing with that one.
I'm just, I'm going to pass that one off.
So I have to pass this save, so I can roll at disadvantage, so you only take half damage.
Oh, yeah.
Lich be gone.
Yeah, this is literally, you could bottle this class and just label it as Lich Beyond and just spritz it where you don't want liches to open opening their dungeons and
Their towers, their lairs, if you will.
I guess if you want to take a look at one of the negatives of the class, other than what you guys are saying, is it's really only you're really only good against undead.
Yeah, I was going to put that as this is a very single-minded
it's
class.
It's one of those things like, why would you be a druid if you're going to spend all your time in dungeons?
Oh, you want to play Ravenloft? Okay.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Other than that, though, I think like if we clean up the level 6 ability, 14. If we clean up level 2, level 6, and level 14, and just
Once we clean up once we clean up all the class, it'll be fine. No, the 10th level and starting spells are.
yeah, no, everything else here is fine. All of it just needs to be like turned down
to fit into games that aren't incredibly high power.
Yeah, and other than that, it'll be fine. You
Yeah,
just got
flavor-wise, I love it.
Yeah, and I think it adds a
I
great
like
flavor.
the idea.
It adds a cool thing to the druid. So yeah, but at current strength, it like the Grave Domain cleric walks in the bar and he's like, "I fight undead," and then the Circle of Decay is just like, "But do you though? But do
I
you?"
feel kind of bad for Grave Domain, really.
I
But
know.
we should
And Grave Domain's really good.
It's okay, little bro.
It's
we should
okay,
probably
little
move
buddy.
on because we do actually have more classes to cover.
But wait, there's more. All right, guys, we're moving on to Gladiator, the one that actually made me really want to like cover all these because there is a lot of potential in Gladiator, but there's also a bit more of the wow, this is a beefy boy.
A bit overloaded in its kit, shall we say.
Yeah, because a lot of people seem to forget that Fighter is just already like everybody thinks of old Fighter for whatever reason.
The bad one from 3rd edition.
The crappy one, the cheerleader in plate. No, because now we have the badass fighter in 5th edition that,
The Battle Master, which
Yeah.
is what this is competing against because, sorry, champion, you're not as good as Battle Master.
yeah, unless you just want to play a very simple fighter, which is your prerogative. But,
So on top of all of the stat increases and extra attacks, action surges, and all the other good stuff the fighter naturally gets,
just has.
when you become a gladiator at 3rd level,
You just get a feat.
yeah, based on the fighting style you chose, you get a feat. If you took archery, you
get
get
sharpshooter.
the sharpshooter. If
You know, the
chose,
feats you were going to take anyway.
Yeah, if you chose defense, you get either medium or heavy armor feat.
And this is one where I actually will, like, I don't want to rip on the guy a lot.
That's my job.
I know that's your job. And I don't want to, because, like, it
Full
takes
reversals. I'll defend this one. Go on.
all right, yeah. No, it takes a lot to put content out there.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it takes a lot to just, kind of come up with ideas, put them down on a thing, and then put them out into the universe because sometimes they're going to get the shit kicked out of them, and it doesn't feel good.
Nope.
That being said, this is a pretty poor idea to give him free feats. The fighter...
We aren't even to the bad stuff yet.
But wait, there's more.
Yeah, the fighter gets 7 ability score increases.
Yeah, they get more feats than anyone else, and I'm still kind of wondering what happens if you already have that feat, if you're a variant human, but...
No. But, yeah, where every class gets 5 ability score increases or potential feats, ability score or feat, depending on your game and your DM. This gets... fighter gets 7 ability score increases or feats, depending on the DM, and you're tacking on
An additional feat.
2 free feats because this ability pops back up again at 10. Go ahead and take another feat.
Well, I do need to finish all these specialty feats.
Yep.
Well, there's just a bunch of them, and there's one for
just
each.
to quickly cover it.
Yeah.
So, for dueling, you get Martial Adept or Sentinel. Great Weapon Fighting, you get the Great Weapon Master feat. For Protection, you get Shield Master. And for 2-Weapon Fighter, you get Dual Wielder.
And a lot of these feats as well.
They're good ones.
Well, they're good feats, and a lot of them give a free stat increase too, like a +1 to strength or a +1 to dexterity.
Or
So
Constitution, I believe, for
Sentinel?
you're gonna
Sentinel. I believe so. I'm not positive. Don't quote me on this. I haven't looked at
Well,
the feats in a while.
Let's just... We got the player's handbook right here. One second. Let me just look this up real quick.
no, that's why we bring the books.
Need a lawyer officer, the bridge.
Feels like a gaming session.
I know,
Hold
right?
on a second. Well, before we do that,
So,
Check
while,
the rules real quick.
while Paul's looking at that,
Go on.
you also get Charismatic Strike. You
Now,
beco-
This is the bread and
Jake,
butter.
do you want to cover this one?
yes, I
Since
do.
You have the most to say about it.
Well, first of all, let me just say that I propose that the name Charismatic Strike be changed to Showboating
Yeah.
because that's objectively cooler. But that's just me.
I also think you should have to shout, "Are you not entertained?"
That being said, charismatic strikes. Starting at 3rd level, you become proficient in the performance skill. That's fine. You have a number of charismatic strikes equal to your charisma modifier. All right. You regain all spent uses of your charismatic strike with a long rest. Okay.
That's all fine.
There is a charismatic strike DC. It's 8 plus charisma. It's that whole formula. Plus proficiency, and that's your DC. Target can make a charisma saving throw at the end of each of their turn to end an effect. Before you make an attack roll, you can declare that the attack is a charismatic strike. If you do so, you may add your charisma modifier to the attack roll. On a hit, you may choose one of the following effects to occur. The target becomes frightened of you. The target has disadvantage on ability checks and saving throws. Or the target has movement speed decreased by half for, and this is true with all of them, the next minute.
Huh. That seems strong.
10 turns of half speed movement,
Which is the
10
least bad
turns
them.
of disadvantage on ability checks and saving throws. If you played this, you get to add your charisma modifier to your strength modifier, which gets your proficiency modifier. At level 3, if you're just like off the top of my head using like a point buy, that means you're already rolling at like a +9 to attack at level 3. And then you choose they get disadvantage on ability checks and saving throws. You just served his ass up to every caster like a buffet. Like, that's all the gladiator has to do is show up, poke him once, get him, boys, and just walk away.
Hold person, enjoy.
It is woof. So,
I kind of wonder, did they mean a round?
I'm wondering too if there was like a, if there was a misspell or a mistyping or because that is, if that were to actually make its way into play, would be
back-breaking.
that is the most powerful ability in the game. Hands
Yeah.
down. 10 rounds of disadvantage on saving throws.
No save ends or anything, by the way. Once
Yeah.
they fail the first save, that's it. They're stuck with it for 10 rounds.
Yep.
Oh no, I thought it said you make the save at the end of each turn.
Let's double check here before we completely. Yep, they can make a saving throw at the end of each turn,
Believe what I said, then I don't know what I'm talking about.
but
They're at a disadvantage for that saving throw.
they're still at disadvantage for their own saving throw. It's rough.
By the way, I wanted to add for the feats is the only one that actually increases an ability score is the armor feats.
Okay.
But that said, those other feats are still among the best feats in the game.
Yeah. So that being said, charismatic strikes really needs to be toned down. Now, that being said, fierce attacks at 7th level, your attacks deal more damage when
You said your charm mod to damage, which is fine.
add your charisma mod to damage. Good ability. Neat. Well trained at 10th level, this is where you get your second free feat based on what fighting style you choose. Terrifying. Tenacious Spirit at level 15. At 15th level, when you hit a creature with a charismatic strike, you gain temporary hit points equal to your level.
It's a
It's
bit weak, actually.
yeah. It's 15 HP ain't nothing to sneeze at, but
At that level, people are mulching through hit points faster than that.
yep.
It's a little bit of a buffer. I feel like that's a little bit underwhelming to make up for how powerful Charismatic Strike is.
And then Nacho, if you would read charismatic armor for us, please.
Charismatic Armor. When you reach 18th level, as a reaction, you can make a performance check against an enemy's attack roll. On a success, you negate the attack. You can then immediately make a charismatic strike against the creature without expending a use of the feature. So that's one free one as a reaction. Once you've used this feature, you must finish a short or long rest until you can do so again.
Honestly, that last bit salvages it from absolutely ruinous to simply a high level of good ability.
Yeah, it's a good ability. Really, the only problem, to fix, if air quotations, to bring Gladiator down to the realm of not being damn. You just got to clean up charismatic strikes. Everything else about it is fine. And Paul and I even discussed a way to make it, and also remove the free feat thing. But
Instead, give them an ability like the Barbarian or the Monk, where you use an alternate AC calculation when you're armored and add your charisma and constitution to your armor instead of just your dexterity.
Yeah, because, I mean, let's face facts. If you're playing a gladiator and you're not shirtless all the time, are you really playing a gladiator?
That's true.
Are you really? I also could see, I think really if you just remove the, change the charismatic strike thing from a full minute to till the next turn, and then maybe put like a limit, like not, on charisma, like you can do like 1 or 2 a combat.
Maybe make it like 2 per short rest or something.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do the napkin calculations,
But
in
it's-
studio, so.
Yeah, but long story short, I think those, like, it cleans everything up because everything else about it is really good. Like the 7th level, your 7th level, your 15th level stuff, everything else, it just flows out fine. But
With that said,
moving on, because we still have a lot more. I don't think we're going to get to Centaur and Minotaur again today. Damn.
We'll do our best.
We'll do our level best. On to
The Way of the Closed Fist.
which...
would you mind reading this one, Matt?
Oh God, you're gonna make me read out loud.
Yeah.
Well, I figured I wasn't going to let you sit there all the time.
Yeah, I
Gosh.
showed too much illiteracy. We need someone that's actually able to understand words.
You can give us the summary, obviously, if you don't feel like reading.
You know
entire
these
thing.
symbols.
Oh, okay, where are we at?
Closed fist,
Closed fist.
right at the start.
The Wing Chun Master.
Where the heck did it go? I had it right in front of me.
Well, really quick,
Well trained, fierce, and
I know we have been...
spells.
We've been a little rough on all these subclasses as we've been going through them. But
Skipped
let me
one.
tell you right now that Closed Fist
I just can't read it.
is actually really good.
Yeah, it's easily the least problematic of them.
It
but
My
it's-
texts are really small. You guys probably want to read this.
that's fine.
Sorry
Sorry,
about
I
that.
didn't want to make you sit.
No,
here
no,
in
I
silence.
wouldn't mind. Otherwise, I just can barely read this myself.
I'll read this one. So the Way of the Closed Fist has the Closed Fist style as its primary ability at third level, where they get to add additional effects to people hit with Flurry of Blows, which is good. Flurry of Blows is the monk bread and butter.
Yeah.
And in early games, it's kind of terrifying. So whenever you hit somebody with Flurry of Blows, you can choose one of the following effects to add to that attack roll before you do it. Your attack scores a critical hit on a 19 as well as a 20. You can reroll the damage for the attack once, and you must use the second roll. Or the target must succeed in a Constitution saving throw or have disadvantage on ability checks and saving throws until the start of your next turn.
And again, this is all if it hits,
Yeah.
and you have to declare the usage for it.
And they get to make a saving throw.
And they get to make a saving throw.
And it's 1 round,
Exactly.
which makes it a lot less danger, Will Robinson. Danger.
It literally apply that to charismatic strikes, and charismatic strikes is fixed. Treat it the exact same way. Easy.
Moving on to the next section is Perfection of Body. At 6th level, your abilities are unparalleled. Physical abilities, I should say. When you make a dexterity, acrobatics, or strength athletics check that you're proficient in, you add your proficiency bonus twice instead of once. It's expertise, if you will.
Which, to this point, again, first of all, another good ability, because I'm surprised that monks never get to add, like, have an expertise in acrobatics or athletics. Like, their whole shtick is they are, they train body
Kung
and
Fu
mind,
masters.
and yeah, they train their body and mind and, turn their bodies into steel and do all that crazy Shaolin monk stuff. Why can't they get expertise on the two things they're supposed to be good at? Rogue gets expertise on whatever the hell it pleases.
It also gives you half your proficiency bonus to a skill you're not proficient in.
Yeah.
If you're not proficient in acrobatics or athletics for whatever reason.
Yeah, and you should be the monk.
If you're not optimizing your monk.
At 11th level, whenever you Flurry of Blows, you hit 3 times instead of twice. And additionally, you can, whenever you're forced to make a saving throw, you can spend your reaction 2 key to gain advantage on it, or to roll normally if you have disadvantage, which is not sure that needs to be written out, given that if you have advantage and disadvantage, they already cancel out.
Yeah.
But
Again, I'm fine with it. Like, it seems a little strong, but at the same time, like, this
it's
is
an
about
11th level ability and a subclass. It costs a reaction and 2 key.
Yep.
Then there's Strike Back. Whenever an attack roll is made against you, you can use your reaction to spend 2 key points to make an attack against that creature. It's interesting, but I feel like given that you're getting 3 attacks and you flurry of blows, it might be better to just save your key to flurry twice.
But it's still, I do like the idea though of adding more defensive options to use your key points. You know, kind of like a Battlemaster fighter.
Yeah.
You know, it gives you some defensive options to throw your key in there along with some of the other stuff, and it just adds more to that key pool because I do love the point-based kits, the sorcery and monk kits.
It's fun. I like it.
Yeah.
I see Strike Back as kind of an Ultra Instinct type thing where you get hit and just as soon as you get hit, immediately just pow without even thinking about it.
This ability, in my opinion, is one of the more role-play-esque abilities of all these classes so far. I mean, it's more of a role-playing aspect than as opposed to an actual mechanic.
Yeah.
You probably wouldn't do it, but it's fun that you have the ability to because it allows you to.
Well, yeah, I mean, during the game, you're probably not going to do it, but if you're just thinking role-play-wise, I can do this. Right.
You know, cross-counter somebody when they're trying
Because
to
that was my biggest complaint when I was reading all of these and thinking a lot of these are really just battle-oriented. And the group I just left is a lot more role-playing in the group. Whereas battle isn't, I mean, combat, there's combat, but there wasn't a ton of combat. So if you're playing a strictly combat character, you fall to the wayside.
Just going to go sit in your hands while everyone else does the combat
Pretty
thing.
much.
Now, again, though, I will say, just to reiterate, though, from when we started unpacking these and started going through everything, the guy did design them because he runs super combat-heavy campaigns, and he, again, self-described likes to throw a lot at his players. What is a lot? We don't know. We're not his players. It could be a Tarask at 5th level. We're not there.
The last ability, Super Saiyan mode. Sorry, I meant Focus the Spirit.
Again, love it.
So, as a free action, that's kind of rare, you can spend 5 key points to gain the following effects for 1 minute at 17th level. You have advantage on ability checks, attack rolls, and saving throws. You can reroll any damage roll resulting in a 1 or 2, but you must use the second roll. Whenever you take the attack action during your turn, you attack 3 times instead of twice. Whenever you use the deflect missiles feature, the damage you take is reduced by 110, your dexterity modifier, your constitution modifier, your wisdom modifier, and your monk level.
Holy shit.
Although I should note...
Hold on, let me catch that ballista bolt real quick.
I should note that it's not saying plus or even commas, so it's sort of grammatically confusing, but I understand what it means.
Simple typo.
And then the first time you drop to 0 hit points during this time, you drop to 1 hit points instead.
So, the only thing I would change about that is instead of 1 minute, 30 seconds. 5 rounds. 5 turns.
That's fair. That said, I think it's actually fairly balanced for a 17th level ability.
It is, and it actually, it gives you a reason to want to get there because that just sounds awesome. Like, you are spending a significant amount of key points to activate,
That's 5 flurry of blows that you're missing out on.
Yeah,
so.
that's, you're giving up a Super Saiyan, but at the same time, like, you were suddenly just doing ridiculous, what am I thinking of? What's the movie I'm thinking of?
Describe it.
It's the Kung Fu movie from 2004. It's like a comedy.
Not Kung Fury.
Kung Fu Panda?
No. Get out of here.
I know what you're talking about with the X Gang, right?
Figure
Yeah, with the Axe Gang. Oh, God.
Kung Fu Hustle.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, no, that is like you can do some Kung Fu Hustle-esque shenanigans like from the end of the movie. Like,
Buddha's Palm.
yeah, it's badass. I love it. Closed Fist, if you want to
think
allow
it's
it in your game,
balanced.
it's pretty well balanced, actually.
It's a very combat-heavy monk thing. I would take a closer look at perhaps the deflect missiles thing because that seems a bit ridiculous, but it's not a very often used feature to begin with.
Right.
I think it's fine.
Yeah.
This is the one I would actually probably allow.
Yeah, it passes the eye test pretty easily.
I would need to playtest it to actually know, but
All right, we got to storm through these last two really quick. So,
The Lich Patron for Warlocks.
this was...
Contentious.
Jake, do you want to read this one?
Yes.
This one was a bit of a contentious one in the car.
Well, for 2 reasons. A, there already is a Lich.
The Undying Patron in Sword Coast Adventurer's Guide already does this and, in fact, shares many of the spells in its spell list.
Yeah,
No, in all fairness, we all forgot about it.
Yeah, we all forgot that the Undying Patron was a thing. Like, Paul actually reminded me. He's like, no, there's the one in the Sword Coast Adventurer's Guide. And I was like, no. And I, opened my book up, and I was like, I forgot about that. Damn.
I could have been doing this the whole time.
Yeah, I could have been doing that.
Yeah, you were telling me how cool it was and how there wasn't a Lich patron. I was like, but there is.
But wait a minute. Yeah, I know, making me look bad. So yeah, going through the expanded spell list really quick. First level, you get False Life, Ray of Sickness, which is actually the exact same ones you get from the Undying.
Let me read out alongside you because they share an absolutely absurd number of.
Well, it's really just the first three. It kind of changes up, but they all it's
False Life and Ray of Sickness at first level.
Yep.
What's the second level one? Come on.
Blindness, Deafness, Ray of Enfeeblement.
Blindness, Deafness, and Silence.
Okay. Third level, Animate Dead
and slow.
and Slow.
Feign Death, Speak with Dead.
Yeah.
At that point, it breaks off.
Let's see. We got Confusion, Phantasmal Killer,
Aura of Life, Death Ward,
and Cloud Kill and Scrying,
Contagion, and Legend Lore.
which
They serve kind of similar
they
purposes.
like the fifth level ones kind of do the same thing. It's just not quite.
Just two different spells that fill the same role.
Yeah. Now that being said, again, there was a really good point made by Matt that a lot of these are more combat focused. Like the Undying one has a lot of really cool role play stuff. It's not necessarily a super powerful Warlock pact, but it does have a lot of like really neat role play stuff. But
It really emphasizes being on good terms with your patron too.
yeah, that too. That being said, first level, the first ability you get, Paralyzing Touch at level 1. Oh boy. Starting at first level, when you hit a creature with a melee attack, you can force that creature to make a Constitution saving throw. On a failure, the creature is stunned for 1 minute.
Like this.
Whole minute.
Yeah. 10 rounds.
10 rounds.
That wasn't 10 rounds.
The creature may repeat the saving throw at the end of each of their turns, ending the effect on itself on a success. You may use this feature a number. God, how terrifying would it be to get hit by that and then Charismatic Strikes?
Pretty scary, given that that's hold person that you don't have to concentrate on
Yeah.
at first level.
Hold on. Use that against the Lich with your level
Liches.
6
They're immune to stunning.
Yeah. They are.
Circle of Dread?
Circle of Decay.
Circle of Decay Druid, and yeah, Big Bad Lich in the dungeon won't stand a chance.
It's true.
Yeah. All right. I think we're probably going to have to go about 10 minutes over, as long as that's okay with everybody here. Really quick, too. Neat. Moving on.
We've been
Yeah.
blabbering, so.
So, yeah, we have been. You can use this feature a number of times equal to your Charisma modifier, which as Warlock, Charisma is your patron stat.
It's going to be high, probably +3 at level 1.
Yeah. And you regain all spent uses with a long rest. Only problem with this thing, honestly, is the 1 minute bit. It's
hold person at first level.
It's super effective. Like it
And
becomes
it hits
like
more than just people.
yeah, it becomes a very reasonable thing if it just is until the start of that thing's next turn.
Though on one hand, you are a Warlock, so you are squishy.
Yeah.
And you have to get up close in person.
I mean, they get to wear light armor and they have D8 hit dice.
Yeah. They're
not
not
that
that
squishy.
squishy.
I thought it was a D6.
No.
No.
They're not that squishy. They're kind of squishy.
No, see,
I need to read more.
they're the jocks of Wizard World.
Yeah.
They are.
They do more pushes.
They're already
than other
powerful enough, too.
Yeah,
so
Yeah.
I look terrible today because I am rusty.
I can't read.
All of the Warlock.
I don't know how to read.
I don't know all the
read,
Warlock
I can't
features by
remember
heart.
stuff.
I learned valuable things
That's
instead
okay.
of memorizing.
I
the
need
book.
bifocals to read this.
All right, moving on to Disrupt Life, their 6th level ability. It's pretty strong. At 6th level, you gain the ability to disrupt the life auras of the living. As an action, you can force each non-undead creature within 20 feet to make a Constitution saving throw, taking necrotic damage equal to 2d6 plus your Charisma modifier plus your Warlock level. On a successful save, a creature only takes half damage. Once you use this feature, you must finish a short or long rest before you do so again.
Now, to be Commander Contrarian here, I actually don't think this ability is that strong for the following reasons. 1, it's indiscriminate, so it hits allies.
Yep.
2, it's indiscriminate, and you're within the radius.
Yeah.
And you're a living creature, so you take the hit as well.
Yep.
Sorry,
interesting.
I got a bit too
It's-
excited there, but
No, it's actually, but I do. I if that's what's intended for usage, I kind of like that idea because then it's just like
that's cooking a
fail-safe.
grenade.
yeah, it's a cooking a grenade. It's a weak fireball, and it's you're kind of just blowing up stuff around you. And I do like the idea of high risk, high reward player. Like I'm really surprised we haven't seen like a Warlock pack where they focus on doing damage to themselves to do damage to other stuff. This
They'd probably get Blizzard's lawyers on them if they did that.
probably, but no one, Games Workshop never went after StarCraft.
They tried, but that's
Well, they ain't got lawyers for it, but that's a completely different show.
There was one monastery back in the day where they actually did beat themselves, so that sounds like more of a monk thing than a warlock thing.
Well, we'll
historically
fight about
Flagellants
this.
are
We're
more
gonna
of a-
fight about this in the truck. All right, but we gotta keep moving. So my favorite ability actually from this one I think is really neat is the necrotic tether.
This one's fun. I like this one.
At 10th level, you learn a potent magical trick from your patron. As a bonus action on your turn, you can create a crackling cord of necrotic energy linking you and one creature you can see within 30 feet. The tether lasts for 1 minute. While this tether is active, each time you take damage, the tethered creature must succeed on a Constitution saving throw. On a failure, you take only half the damage of the attack, and the tethered creature takes the remaining damage. The tethered creature can move up to 60 feet away from you with the tether remaining intact. If the tethered creature moves beyond 60 feet, the target ends. You must finish a long rest before you can use this feature again.
Now, assuming that's not a typo, the ability to move 60 feet away from something and instantly destroy it is pretty good. But I'm assuming they mean the tether is destroyed in the target.
Yes, that's
when you move 60 feet away.
That's what I also believe. And if that is the case, this is a really it's balanced. It's fun. It's a cool mechanic.
It's a long rest replenish too, so you don't get the usual warlock thing of once a short rest.
Yeah, and it's a bonus action too, so you can Eldritch Blast somebody and then throw a tether on them and good stuff, good happy stuff. And
it's balanced.
Yeah, it's balanced. I really like it. It's a great ability. Quasi-Lichdom, their 14th level ability. When you reach 14th level in this class, your patron begins to prepare you for the transformation into a Lich. You are not yet a full Lich, though. You do not have a phylactery, but while you are not yet undead, neither are you among the living. You gain the following benefits of this Quasi-Lichdom. You are resistant to necrotic damage and immune to poison damage. All right. You are immune to poison and disease, and you have advantage on charming, death, exhaustion, and paralysis saving throws.
It's fine.
All right. You age half as slow as your race normally would. Interestingly enough, the 14th level Undying feature, Warlock Pact feature.
Pull it up right now.
Yep. Slows your aging even more and makes it so you don't have to eat or breathe or, any of that stuff. So it's actually
the 10th level abilities.
Oh,
For
is
every
it?
10 years that pass, you only age 1 year, and you're immune to being magically aged.
Neat.
Seems like Undying is just a better deal, doesn't it?
If you now here's where things get weird. You add any necromancy spells or cantrips of your choice to your known spells. These count as warlock spells for you, which I'd like to talk to the author just to know what exactly does that mean? Does that mean I can just
Take every necromancy spell ever and throw it in my
just
spellbook?
throw it in my spellbook even if I'm not high enough? Because warlocks can't cast that high.
Yeah.
But at this, for a lot of these, but at the same time, does that mean I can just take Finger of Death and go Finger of Death? Because it does sound like a great
And
Megadeth
also,
song.
aren't warlocks in general are generally very limited in their spell selection. So this is giving you a good 50 spells or so.
I wouldn't say about 50, but you're still
If you're
getting.
including all the books.
Well, yeah, you're getting a ton of spells to choose from though.
You have a wide variety, but you can still only cast 4 or 5 spells.
6th level spell. You get to cast a lot of spells as warlock. It's just they replenish in short rests. So
Yeah.
Yeah, but per combat, you still only have a couple
And-
spells.
So that one's a little wonky, but the last bit I do really like. When you drop to 0 hit points and die, your patron can, if you have not displeased them, resurrect you at a location of their choosing. Any items and equipment you are carrying are not restored to you, however.
like I said, this one puts a good deal of emphasis on being on good terms with your patron.
Which is,
Interesting.
yeah, no, and I do love, that's one of the things I love so much about Warlock as a DM, is just you then get to do stuff as the patron, and you have that
You never
relationship with that
call,
player.
you never write.
You're supposed to be out there preparing the world for subjugation and murder, and what are you doing? You're just faffing around with a bunch of assholes. That's how all my aboleths sound, by the way, an old-timey circus guy. And so instead of, the obvious, doom voice that they would get, instead all my aboleths sound like old-timey circus announcers. What do you mean? We're preparing the world for the...
For subjugation.
All right. So, final thoughts on the Lich, and then we're going to get the last one, and then we're going to wrap this bad boy up.
To be Commander Contrarian again, I like it. I'm
What?
watching this one I can see that there are ways to break this. I'm just not sure what they are yet.
Okay.
Well, let me play in your game, and I'll use this, and I'll show you how to break it.
Wow. Wow.
Hard no. If you want to play a Mystic, you can. No.
Oh, Matt,
No.
if you're not aware, I am banned from multiple classes.
You're not banned. It's just like,
When you say, I'm going to actively try to break your game, they're not going to let you play it.
yeah, like every time you go, hey, I'm going to ruin your game if you let me play this. Wow, okay, I'm just not going to let you play it. That was easy.
Got it in one.
Yep. All right, let's wrap this up.
Last but not least.
Last but not least, the School of Arcana Wizard. Fantastic spell list. Nacho, if you want to hit the spell list really quick.
Spell list. At 2nd level, you get Magic Missile and Shield. If you don't have Magic Missile, are you really a wizard?
It's true. Are you really a wizard?
3rd level, Melf's Acid Arrow and Mirror Image. 5th level, Counter Spell and Fly. 7th level, Banishment and Dimension Door. At 9th level, you get Bigby's Hand and Wall of Force.
Also known as the greatest hits except for
Yeah, I was
Fireball.
going to say, the greatest hits and also Melf's Acid Arrow.
Well, you need to have something
Hey,
to
man,
choose.
some people like Melf's Acid Arrow, okay?
Yeah, those people are wrong because Magic Missile does more damage.
Those people are wrong. Okay.
Again, these are, as I think I've said before, when I looked at these, I thought, somebody went to a wizard optimization guide and just took, these are the spells you have to take, and just gave them to you for free.
Yeah, but since you still have to choose spells, they let you pick Fireball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
2nd level, you get Magic Sense. You gain proficiency in Arcana if you're not already proficient, but you're a wizard, so you should be.
Why aren't you?
If you're already proficient in that, you can choose another intelligence skill. Whenever you make an Arcana check, then you get expertise in it.
Yeah.
It's fine.
It's good. Like, I do personally believe that more classes should get expertise in certain things. Like, not just Rogue and Bard should, sit there with all the expertise, abilities and just, their arms wrapped around them. I'd like to see more of that in the future. And that is one thing I'm actually very fond of with a lot of the subclasses presented here, is that he does actually spread out a lot of expertise love to people who
Yeah, you should probably do it.
should probably get it for stuff that makes sense. Again, like a monk should have expertise on acrobatics. Like, it kind of makes sense. Moving on.
Then at 6th level, you get Spell Negation, where you can now cast Detect Magic and Identify at will, so you get to save the fluff time of ritual casting.
Yeah, that could have been a banner because at that point you already had Detect Magic and Identify on speed dial. So.
Yeah, for, 10 minutes for a ritual, it's...
And you spend so much time studying, you're like, oh, yeah, that's what this is.
Yeah. The only
flexibility.
thing, so the only thing with Identify that I did find that, like, it does kind of cheapen it, but this is also very heavily reliant on the kind of DM you are, is there is a material component for Identify, and that is a pearl worth 100 gold pieces. And so if you're a DM who, like, makes
them go buy pearls individually.
Yeah. And makes them get all their reagents and, like, have a list of their reagents. Basically, if you play a super simulationist version of D&D,
Anal.
that's...
I didn't want to say that, but
if you play super
But you're not
simulationist,
wrong.
that 6th level ability is a pain in the ass. Other than that, I don't really care.
and then the second paragraph kicks in.
Yeah.
This one actually isn't bad. I like this one, but you also get, I believe, to cast Dispel Magic once per short rest.
Yep.
Which is, again,
No spell slot.
yep, no spell slot.
Again, we're back to the greatest hits of wizard spells. So.
Yeah.
At 10th level, you get Advanced Recovery, where you're no longer restricted with your Arcane Recovery, so now you can restore spell slots of any level which you're able to cast.
I'm watching this one carefully.
Yeah, this has potential to be bad, but
I
it's-
don't
You
think
get to
there's-
become 2/3 of a genie. You can cast 2 wishes.
Yeah, no, I mean, that is the only thing that's, like, scary, is the idea that at a 18th level wizard can recharge that 9th level spell slot.
Well, as I said before, I can't think of a way to use the spell that isn't going to be degenerate somehow.
Yeah.
Like this trait, I should say. There's
But-
no non-degenerate uses of this ability.
At the same time, though, that relies on the game getting to 18th level and stuff like that.
No, I'm talking like even at 5th level, you can now plane shift in and out to get pitch perfect teleportation anywhere you want on the material plane.
True. Didn't think of that. You make a good point.
And then at 14th level, Arcane Mastery. Each day when you prepare your spells for the day, you may prepare a number of spells equal to half your wizard level, rounded down from the spell list of any class.
I'm watching this one as well.
Oh, you thought you could keep that from me? No.
Again, there are no non-game breaking ways to use this.
Well, unless you're an innocent player.
It's true. The first thing that
Which
leaps to mind is
there are innocent players out there.
you can grab top-level Warlock and Paladin and Ranger spells because they only go up to 4th level, and you can cast 4th-level spells here.
Yep. It's like the Bard's ability to jack spells.
It's not that broken, but it's also like I'm sure there's a way to absolutely ruin the game that I just haven't seen yet.
Well, I mean, here's what makes it scary. Like, where that makes the Bard into, in my opinion, a top-tier class due to all of the fact that they're the best skill monkeys in the game. And then when they get high enough level, they can take choice spells from any list. It's scarier, though, for the Wizard, because the Wizard already has the most expansive spell list in the game, and there's a reason that a couple of spells are, like...
Just not on there.
Just not on there, because, like, his combos are already pretty nasty. So the ability to just look around and go, ooh, oh,
I
hey.
want that.
But this is allowing you to take divine spells.
Yeah.
See, that doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make sense for a guy to play a guitar and, Goblin's brain blows up either, but, it's D&D.
No, I agree with you. It rubs me a little the wrong way. For some of them, I think
Maybe
it
they're
makes
studying
sense.
holy texts and learn it.
Like, Raised Dead is kind of weird, but I can see it as a sort of arcane version. But then you get, like, commune with divine. You're like, what am I doing? What am I doing here? Who am I talking to?
Right.
Actually, that would be a lot of fun, though, to, like, role play as a DM.
Yeah.
Just like, new phone, who dis? How did you get this phone number? How are you using Arcanic Leyline? The hell?
Well, the thing is, who you connect to, and if the arcane person hasn't really picked a patron deity,
Yeah.
But anyway.
No, it'd be, like I said, I could see it being, like, really funny.
You call Narilathlatep's home phone. It's like, Narily, who's this?
Hi, how you doing? All right.
Heard you needed some madness and death.
Yeah. So, final thoughts on School of Arcana.
I like it.
I really like it too. I think it's actually like I do like the idea of the greatest hits wizard. And I'm also pretty fine with a lot of the abilities they present except for Advanced Recovery and Arcane Mastery because again, that's like the potential for shenanigans is high with those. But at the same time, I still feel like other than those two abilities, Divination Wizard still out horsepowers this thing.
I think even with it, Divination Wizard is still more powerful, which is why I think this is the best of these. Easily. I like it the best, I should say.
Okay.
I would probably allow it in my game with some minor changes.
All right, yeah. So, really quick, let's just, from the top, going back down, how do we feel about everything? College of Tragedy.
Needs strong looking at.
I really like the concept of it, but it does need to be slightly toned back with the inspirations.
Matt?
No, it's unique. I like it. If you want to play the emo character, that's cool.
Like I said, give me my drawer way bar.
But like I said, though, the lot of drawback I think for a lot of these is the whole role playing aspect, and who actually wants to hang out with the guy who's always so humdrum and emotional?
Morose.
Like, shut up, man. I think
I get it. You stepped in a puddle. Stop crying about it. But that kept them from killing you.
All right. Circle of
my skin.
Circle of Decay.
Does the Grave Domain better than the Grave Domain, and I don't like that.
Okay.
Again, flavor-wise, I like it, but it's too dangerous against undead.
reminds me of Wizard of the Coast when you're playing the what's it? Not Wizard of the Coast, Magic the Gathering. What's that? The green black.
Golgari. Yes,
yeah,
the Golgari
that's what it reminds me of. I don't know if I'd want to throw it with a druid. I love druids. God, I love druids, but I don't know if I'd want to throw that. I don't know.
Why not give all those abilities to a cleric?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I mean, it sits better with a cleric than it would be a druid. But
I'm still
Maybe
really
a
fond of
paladin.
the concept. I think the idea.
I like it.
I think the idea is there. I think it could use a little bit of reworking. And that brings us
Gladiator, I
to
believe?
Gladiator.
Gladiator.
Again, conceptually, this is great.
It's something everybody is. I'm sure everyone has wanted to play Gladiator at least once.
There's a lot of cool ideas with it.
Too many feats. Too many free feats.
Yeah, too many free feats. Charismatic Strikes needs drastic reworking. Please see Closed Fist Monk.
Kind of needs the ability to do the bare-chested gladiator fight thing also.
Yeah,
But
you know.
later.
Nacho, thoughts on Gladiator?
Gladiator, again, cool concept, way too powerful. And
I sense a theme.
I'm the one that likes I'm the one that likes game breaking, and that's too much for me.
That's saying a lot.
Yeah.
No, I chalk this one up to with a lot of, I don't know, I chalk it to almost with Monk, because you're I'm going back to the role-playing thing. When you go back to role-playing, when you're not with your trainer, how the hell are you getting levels? How the heck are you learning anything new? We see, you monks are that way, gladiators that way. So that's the only, I mean, other it being overpowered, I didn't want to repeat everything everybody else say, but that aspect there kind of bugs me a little bit.
You know, that's a good point. I think I'm going to bring that up in a future segment. How are people gaining levels without being trained?
Figure it
well,
out.
there is a really quick just on that.
We'll work on that.
Yeah. Well, in the DMG, there is an alternate leveling, like when it's time for everybody to level up, how many days it would take with like their master or their druid leader or whatever. But it's like in a little blink and you miss it page.
I mean, with mages, it's entirely different. I mean, they can you're just studying.
I was
You
going to
buy
say, a
couple
sorcerer or
books and you
warlock is just,
Right.
next level now.
Yeah, with cleric, your god's like, hey, here,
Yeah.
let me teach you.
Exactly. I mean, warlocks anyway. Like I said, wizards, just read up a couple books and you're good to go.
Rogues, they just practice their craft.
Yep.
All right. Closed Fist.
Balanced.
Love it.
A bit too
Everything about it.
combat-based. There needs to be some more role-playing aspects, but I think it's fine.
I will only minorly disagree with you there because all the other monks do have a lot of great role play options, and I like the idea of this just being the I am straightforward, I punch stuff monk.
I'm not a spiritual monk. I'm the
Yeah,
monk
this
that
is
uses what's the word? Mind over matter is hitting you with my head.
This is Cobra Kai as opposed to.
Yeah,
Mr. Miyagi.
yeah, no, there is no waxing the cars. There is kicking boards, and that's about it. That's what I like about it. It's actually kind of
Wonder if it's a Jade Empire reference also, but I wonder.
Yeah.
Nacho. Any thoughts on Closed Fist?
Everything's been said. It's an amazing class.
All right,
Subclass, but yeah.
Subclick.
the Lich.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you, Paul.
The Lich Warlock Patron. Necrotic Tether is cool.
It is. It's very cool.
I'm going to steal that for an enemy, for an NPC in a game.
I think it's got too much overlap with the Undying, but I also kind of feel like
Most of us
given
forget
its
about it.
obscurity, the writer may have not known they existed.
Yeah, and that, nothing to be ashamed of there, because Skag came out not too long after the core set, and it was just kind of they didn't really hype how much stuff was in it. New subclasses and a couple other little things and new backgrounds. I tell people all the time, I'm like, oh yeah, and there's a whole nother book of backgrounds. It's in Sword Coast Adventures Guide. And they're like, what?
Honestly, when I first saw Skag in a bookstore, I thought it was for an older edition for whatever reason. Because it's just
It
oh
does
yeah, this
kinda
is
look
just
that
kind
way.
of there.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to put. I don't know. I just don't like the Quasi Lich as a warlock subclass.
Yeah,
I've always looked at Lich as being wizard.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, I always looked at that being the final evolution of a wizard. If they're going to go evil, I'm going to stick around, I'm going to do this. As it being, I'm going to start it at third level. It seems like, really?
No.
I don't know. So, but anyway.
I agree with it.
But yeah, no, overall, still needs a little couple of wrenches turned on it. But other than that, though, I think it
has potential.
yeah,
it has potential.
That tether is the greatest thing
and
I've seen.
yeah, Necrotic Tether is a really cool mechanic. And that brings us to the School of Arcana wizard.
I like the super nerd.
It's interesting. It's definitely the greatest hits of Wizard. It's still weaker than the Diviner, but that's not saying much.
Yeah. Well, divination is just as strong.
I'm watching its final two abilities very carefully because I'm sure somebody in the comments could be like, oh yeah, I can abuse unlimited recovery and Mordenkainen's lubrication to get all my spells back every round.
Yeah.
And you're like, that wasn't intended.
No, yeah, I think it's as far as the fluff and the lore, I wouldn't mind having it just because, again, I like the idea of just this is the I'm kind of learning all of the things wizard.
The one who refuses to get a major.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Just doing all their gen eds and just being like, You can't force me into one hole, man. You're not going to
Jack of all
pigeonhole
trades.
The
me.
Van Wilder of wizards.
Yeah, exactly.
He just hangs out at college forever.
It's the Grey Jedi.
yeah.
I think it's fine.
I do like that.
All right. So overall, I think this whole entire series of subclasses can best be summed up as great potential, need
Playtesting.
close look at both mechanics and playtesting, but there's a couple of gems in here. We all really like the School of Arcana and the Closed Fist Monk, and with everything else, there's really good lore and good potential, and just needs playtesting and a bit more evaluating. So overall, if you want to check it out, we have the link shared on the Facebook stream. Just hop on Facebook, go track it down if you want to take a look at these. I definitely am actually looking forward to monkeying around with some of these and messing with them on my own and seeing what I can come up with, some of this stuff. Overall, though, it's a lot of good groundwork. A lot of the bases have been covered.
Yeah.
With that, it's time for us to wrap up this week. We'd like to once again thank Matt Gross for being on the show. Thanks for coming on, Matt.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun having you on. One more time, if you want to schlep your book, schlep away, friend.
The Malevolent Witch. Go out and buy it. It's fun.
It's on
It's a
Amazon
rocking good time.
for $9.99.
$3 for Kindle.
Yep.
There you go.
Free if you have Kindle Prime.
Yeah.
If it's free, you should be reading it because it's
Free is a
free
very
$9.99.
good price, and it's
Yeah.
certainly at least worth a read.
My
They-
favorite
if
price.
anything, only thing I ask for other than you buying it is leave a review. Reviews are gold to independent or to self-published authors.
Yeah, it'll also
Absolute gold. I mean, I don't care if you got it for free or you never even bought it and you just borrowed it from somebody. Leave me a review. Amazon, obviously. But
Yep.
anyway.
Well, thank you for being on our show.
Yeah, no
today.
problem, man. Thanks for having me.
Oh, it's been a pleasure.
Yep. So next week we will finally do Minotaur and Centaur. It's gonna happen. As far as guests for next week, I think we're actually free on the guest list. Paul won't be here, so let's just wrap up the final things. We are the 3DMs podcast. We record out of Podcast Detroit Studios in Royal Oak. They also have a Southeast Detroit, and they're opening another studio in Detroit. So if you live in the southeastern Michigan area, please go check out Podcast Detroit if you've ever wanted to do a podcast.
They make it incredibly easy. We're complete amateurs when we're doing this.
Yeah, no, man,
Yeah,
it's fun.
no, you've seen me
Definitely.
stumble with basic words.
Happens to the best of us.
Anyways, if you've enjoyed today's show, please go like our Facebook, follow us on Twitter. We are 3DMs Podcast on Twitter. Find us on Facebook. That is facebook.com/3DMs Podcast.
We're on SoundCloud, iTunes, anywhere you can find podcasts.
And if you like our stuff, head to iTunes, give us a 5-star review, and just say they're really nice boys, except for that Paul.
Yeah, I'm
he's a rapscallion or something like that. But
A rascal.
it reviews, just like Matt said, really helps get you noticed.
We read all of them.
Pumps that algorithm. We final thing, because I'm rambling a bit here, but we need to wrap this up. We have our Discord. I recently posted on Facebook the link to join our Discord. We've been trying pretty hard to keep at least somebody in there at from like 4 in the afternoon to about 10 o'clock every night. So if you want to come hang out with us or talk to stuff from the show, or even pitch ideas for future episodes, stuff you'd like to hear us talk about on the show, come hang out with us in our Discord. The link is on our Facebook, and I'm actually probably going to post another one when I get home tonight. So with all that being said,
One quick thing before we sign off.
damn it, Nacho.
Well,
Go on.
tomorrow is Memorial Day, so while you're out there grilling
And chilling.
and chilling, either thank a veteran, spend some time, visit a cemetery, because a lot of us that were out there, we lost brothers and sisters to give us the freedoms we have today. So I just wanted to put that out there.
Wow, Nacho. Thank you. We're the 3DMs Podcast. I'm Jake.
I'm Nacho.
I'm Paul.
I
Thanks.
guess I'm Matt.
Yeah.
Yeah, you are. You are, in fact, Matt. Thanks for listening, guys. It's been a lot of fun. We'll see you next time. And wait for it. Wait for it.